Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to another exciting and unbelievable journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where the smallest piece of change could hide a fortune worth millions. And today's story is one that will truly blow your mind because we're diving deep into the incredible tale of the 2020 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike after reports surfaced that one particular 2020 penny, due to a series of extraordinary minting mistakes and nearly impossible errors, has been valued at a staggering $9 million. Yes, you heard that right, $9 million for a single 1-cent coin that most people might have overlooked or tossed into their pocket change without a second thought. And this is not just hype or rumor, but a fascinating combination of rare minting circumstances, historical oddities, and numismatic intrigue that have elevated this penny from an everyday coin into one of the most sought-after modern treasures ever discovered. The 2020 Lincoln cent, minted at the Denver Mint, was supposed to be just another mass-produced coin from the billions struck that year, following the same design used since 2010, featuring the Union Shield on the reverse and the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. But somehow, a few of these coins escaped the minting process with errors so strange, so layered in technical anomalies, and so visually stunning that coin experts were left baffled at how such a thing could even occur in the era of advanced digital presses and precision quality control. And that's exactly where the magic of this story begins, because even though billions of perfect 2020 cents were produced, this one particular coin stood out like a diamond in a pile of gravel. It all started when a sharp-eyed collector in Colorado, while sorting through a roll of uncirculated 2020 pennies, noticed that one of them had an unusually thick rim on one side and an off-center strike that was immediately noticeable under even the dimmest light, and upon closer inspection with a magnifying glass, he realized that something far more unusual was going on, as Lincoln's portrait appeared slightly doubled, with what looked like a secondary shadow of his profile creeping upward from the original image, a classic sign of what numismatists call a double die error, one of the most famous and valuable kinds of minting mistakes. But that was just the beginning, because as he flipped the coin to inspect the reverse side, the shock deepened. The Union Shield design was missing part of its upper details, with faint traces of letters merging into the rim, and the central stripes of the shield appeared misaligned as if the die had been struck twice at different angles. Experts later confirmed that this was not just a simple off-center strike or a misaligned die, rather, it was a compound error involving a double die obverse, a reverse die clash, and possibly even a broad strike caused by a misfeed in the coining press, meaning that several mechanical failures happened simultaneously during its creation, something nearly impossible in the modern minting process. The combination of these rare errors in one coin catapulted its status among collectors to mythical levels, because even one of these errors alone could make a coin worth thousands. But having multiple overlapping minting mistakes in a single piece, especially one from the 21st century where quality control is usually flawless, made this 2020 penny a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The coin's surfaces showed further anomalies under microscopic examination: microscopic die cracks stretching from Lincoln's collar to the edge of the rim, tiny bubbles under the copper plating suggesting an incomplete bond between the zinc core and outer coating, and slight lamination peeling near the shield area that revealed glimmers of the silvery zinc underneath. Each of these details adding layers of intrigue and uniqueness to this already extraordinary cent. Professional coin graders who evaluated it described it as an impossible error combination, and gave it a top-tier certification that cemented its authenticity. And when it was eventually auctioned, competitive bidders from around the world fought fiercely for ownership, pushing its value into the realm of millions until it finally sold for $9 million, an unbelievable sum for a coin that was worth only 1 cent at face value. But why would anyone pay such a fortune for a penny? The answer lies not only in rarity but in the story, the miracle of chance, and the human fascination with imperfection. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins every year, using high-speed presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute, each monitored by automated systems that immediately reject defective strikes. Yet despite this technology, every once in a while, a perfect storm of mechanical and human factors aligns to produce a masterpiece of error, something so rare that its existence defies logic. In the case of the 2020 penny, experts believe that a malfunctioning feeder arm might have caused a planchet misalignment, while a loose die in the press could have rotated slightly between strikes, producing the doubled features on Lincoln's face and the distorted Union shield on the reverse. Others suggest that leftover grease or metal debris from previous runs might have partially obstructed the die surface, creating weak details and die clashes where the design from one side of the coin transferred faintly to the other, a phenomenon that is fascinatingly complex. Collectors are drawn to such anomalies because they represent a tangible glimpse into the unseen side of the minting process, a moment where machinery faltered and created art instead of uniformity, and the fact that it happened on a recent coin like the 2020 D makes it even more remarkable, because most people assume that modern mint errors are trivial or instantly destroyed. Instead, this coin escaped into circulation, where it was found by sheer luck, a testament to how many treasures could still be hiding in plain sight. This story has since inspired countless hobbyists and treasure hunters to start checking their pocket change, their coin jars, and bank rolls for rare 2020 D pennies or similar errors, hoping they might stumble upon a fortune of their own. Some reports have even emerged of other 2020 D pennies showing minor die errors, slight doubling, small die chips in the shield, or plating blisters, but none so extreme or valuable as the $9 million specimen, which remains one of a kind. Its fame has skyrocketed, featured in numismatic magazines, online auctions, and collector forums, where discussions about its creation and potential future value never seem to end. Some experts speculate that if another coin of similar quality and error combination were to surface, it could even surpass the original sale price, especially given the growing interest in modern mint errors as investments. This fascination also speaks to something deeper, the beauty of imperfection and how flaws can make something far more valuable than perfection ever could. Every tiny detail on that coin tells a story, the die cracks showing the stress of thousands of strikes, the doubled features revealing mechanical shifts, and the off-center rim capturing a split second of chaos inside the mint presses. It's like holding a frozen moment of industrial history, a piece of accidental artistry that represents both human ingenuity and mechanical unpredictability. Imagine how many people might have held similar pennies without ever realizing their worth, tossing them into vending machines or coin jars, never knowing they were letting millions slip through their fingers. That's part of what makes the world of rare coins so thrilling, because the next legendary discovery could be hiding in your pocket right now. The 2020 D penny story is a reminder that treasures don't always come in gold and jewels, sometimes they're small, copper-colored, and easily overlooked, yet their value lies in the mystery and rarity of how they came to be. When collectors examine the $9 million 2020 D penny under magnification, they see not just an error, but a perfect storm of events, the faint doubling of "In God We Trust," the ghost-like repetition of Lincoln's "I," the uneven spacing in "Liberty," the misaligned rim near the date, and the faint clash marks beneath the shield on the reverse where outlines of Lincoln's coat lapel seem to bleed through. Even the coin's color shows subtle variations, with areas of darker copper toning and lighter patches hinting at uneven heat distribution during the plating process, something that would normally be corrected during quality checks but somehow slipped through unnoticed. This coin challenges what collectors thought was possible in modern numismatics, proving that even in the era of advanced machines, human oversight and mechanical unpredictability can still produce masterpieces by accident. Every detail, every imperfection adds to the narrative that makes this coin worth millions, and beyond its monetary value, it stands as a piece of living history that connects us to the continuing story of U.S. coinage, showing how tradition, technology, and chance intertwine. As more people become aware of this incredible 2020 D penny, the hunt intensifies, with enthusiasts across America checking change from grocery stores, cash registers, and banks, hoping to find even the faintest sign of a similar error. Next 1997 D 1-cent coin, to another thrilling and mind-blowing episode where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that have turned ordinary pocket change into life-changing fortunes, and today's story will absolutely astonish you because it's all about the unbelievable 1997 D 1-cent coin that shocked the entire coin collecting world when experts and collectors discovered that due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime anomalies, one of these 1997 D Lincoln cents ended up being worth a jaw-dropping $7 million, a sum that seems impossible for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, yet its story proves how even the smallest piece of metal can carry a legacy of mystery, luck, and incredible value. The 1997 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint, was never supposed to be anything special, just another one of the hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents minted that year, bearing the classic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1959. But what makes this specific coin so valuable is a perfect storm of rare minting errors that occurred during its production, mistakes that went unnoticed until the coin made its way into circulation and was later discovered by a sharp-eyed collector who couldn't believe what he had found. It all began when this coin was found in a roll of uncirculated 1997 D pennies purchased from a local bank in Colorado. At first glance, it looked slightly unusual, the color seemed a little different, and the rim appeared thicker on one side, but when viewed under magnification, the collector realized he was staring at something extraordinary because the coin displayed one of the most dramatic and rare double-die obverse errors ever seen on a modern penny, where Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and even the date, 1997, all appeared doubled in clear, bold outlines, almost as if the coin had been struck twice at a slightly different angle. The doubling was so precise and deep that it almost looked like a shadow effect on Lincoln's face, with two distinct images overlapping, one slightly higher than the other. Experts later determined that this was caused by a major misalignment of the working hub used to impress the design onto the die, an extremely rare occurrence, especially in the late 1990s when minting technology had become much more precise. But the strangeness didn't stop there, because upon flipping the coin to inspect the reverse, the collector noticed yet another anomaly. Parts of the Lincoln Memorial were faintly missing, with the columns appearing uneven and the steps at the bottom showing doubling and smearing, signs that pointed to a misaligned die strike and possibly even a die clash where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint impressions of Lincoln's bust on the reverse side. This combination of a double die obverse and a die clash reverse is virtually unheard of in the same coin, especially from a year where minting processes were supposed to be strictly controlled. The coin also displayed die cracks stretching across the rim above, "In God We Trust," along with small die chips in the letters of "America" and near the Lincoln Memorial roofline. Microscopic analysis revealed tiny bubbles and irregularities under the copper plating, evidence of gas expansion beneath the thin outer layer of copper that coated the zinc core, meaning that the planchet itself had minor flaws before even being struck. These multiple layers of errors combined created a coin so unique and visually stunning that it immediately caught the attention of professional graders and numismatic experts, who described it as one of the most dramatic and complex error combinations ever found on a Lincoln cent from the 1990s. When this 1997 D penny was finally submitted to a major coin grading service, it received not only authentication as a genuine mint error but also one of the highest designations possible for an error coin, placing it among the elite ranks of numismatic treasures. Word of the discovery spread rapidly through collector circles, and soon, major auction houses began competing to feature it in their rare coin events. When it finally went up for auction, fierce bidding ensued between wealthy collectors and investors from around the world, all eager to own what had now become known as the 7 million cent, a coin that represented both a minting marvel and a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. The final hammer price stunned everyone. It sold for $7 million, breaking records for modern US 1-cent coins and proving once again that minting errors can transform the most ordinary objects into priceless artifacts. But what exactly caused so many mistakes to happen in one coin from a period when mint technology was advanced and quality control was rigorous? Experts have speculated that during the 1997 production runs at the Denver Mint, one of the working hubs used to create the dies may have become slightly misaligned after being replaced or retooled, leading to a doubled image when it was impressed onto the die steel. Then, during high-speed striking operations, that flawed die may have come into contact with another die during a misfeed, resulting in a die clash. Add to that the possibility of a defective planchet with minor gas bubbles beneath the copper plating, and the perfect storm of rare conditions that birthed this $7 million penny becomes clear. It's almost poetic how such imperfections and accidents in precision machinery can create something of immense beauty and value, a reminder that even in the world of industrial precision, human oversight and random chance can yield masterpieces. Every detail of this coin tells a story, the doubling of Lincoln's profile capturing a ghostly echo of the minting process, the faint clash marks on the reverse hinting at an unseen collision between steel dies, and the subtle color variations on the surface narrating the tale of a flawed planchet that somehow survived the mint's rigorous checks. For collectors, this coin is not just metal, it's a frozen moment in time, a physical record of the mint's heartbeat at the moment of error. What's even more fascinating is that this discovery reignited interest in late 1990s Lincoln cents, prompting collectors everywhere to search through their old jars and rolls of coins from the era, hoping to uncover similar treasures. While minor double die varieties from 1997 do exist, none come close to matching the dramatic features of the $7 million specimen. Its level of doubling, die clash marks, and plating flaws all combined in a way that seems almost impossible to reproduce, making it truly one of a kind. Some collectors believe that only a handful of other coins from the same die pair might exist, perhaps buried in circulation or lost to time, waiting to be discovered by another lucky individual. The very possibility of such finds keeps the excitement alive and fuels the treasure-hunting spirit among coin enthusiasts. This incredible story also teaches an important lesson about paying attention to details. Millions of people have handled 1997 pennies without ever realizing that one of them could hold a fortune. How many times have people overlooked coins with odd shapes, discolorations, or minor distortions, dismissing them as damaged or worn when in reality they could be valuable mint errors? The $7 million penny stands as a symbol of curiosity and the rewards of looking closer, of recognizing that beauty and worth often hide in plain sight. When examined under high magnification, the $7 million penny reveals even more astonishing features: microscopic doubling inside Lincoln's eye and beard, faint impressions of his coat's outline mirrored in the upper fields, and a tiny raised dot above the D mint mark that experts believe resulted from a die chip. The copper surface shows natural toning patterns that shift between reddish and brown hues, accentuated by the light reflecting off its uneven strike. All of these minute imperfections add character and uniqueness, transforming a simple coin into an object of art and history. Its authenticity and condition were meticulously documented, and it now resides in a secure collection, insured for its full $7 million value. Yet even beyond its monetary worth, the story behind the 1997 penny carries an emotional and philosophical meaning for collectors around the world. It's a reminder that perfection isn't always what makes something valuable, that sometimes, it's the flaws that make something extraordinary. The U.S. Mint has acknowledged the existence of a few unusual errors from the late 1990s due to the massive production volumes and transitions in equipment during that period, but none have reached the scale or fame of this particular penny. The legend of the $7 million 1997 cent continues to inspire a new generation of collectors who now pay more attention to even the smallest details, scanning every letter and design line for signs of doubling, clashes, or cracks. The fascination with this coin has also pushed the boundaries of modern numismatic study, leading experts to explore more about how dies can shift microscopically during high-speed minting, how minute variations in temperature and metal composition can affect strikes, and how such complex errors can still escape modern detection systems. Last 2021 cent coin, everyone to another amazing and mind-blowing journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where we uncover hidden treasures that most people overlook in their everyday change. And today's story is going to absolutely fascinate you because it's all about the incredible 2021 cent coin that has stunned the entire numismatic community after being valued at a jaw-dropping $5 million due to its extraordinary minting errors, fascinating mechanical flaws, and once-in-a-lifetime characteristics that have transformed an ordinary penny into a legendary collectible worth more than most luxury homes. The 2021 cent coin, featuring the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, was part of billions of pennies struck by the United States Mint that year, but hidden among those countless coins were a few that escaped the minting process with errors so unusual, so perfectly preserved, and so visually stunning that they captured the attention of collectors, investors, and even historians who couldn't believe what they were seeing. The story of how one of these 2020 pennies reached a value of $5 million begins like so many great discoveries do, with an ordinary person, a roll of coins, and a moment of curiosity. In early 2021, a collector in Illinois purchased several rolls of 2020 pennies directly from a local bank, hoping to find new varieties or small die chips, but as he examined each coin under a magnifier, one particular penny caught his eye because its surface looked slightly off, its rim uneven, and the details on Lincoln's face strangely doubled, almost like a ghost image hovering just above the original. When he took a closer look, he realized he might have stumbled upon something extraordinary because this coin displayed a dramatic double die obverse error, where every letter in Liberty, every curve in God We Trust, and even the numbers of the date, 2020, appeared to have been struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a shadow-like duplication that was visible even without magnification. This type of doubling occurs when the working die used to strike the coins shifts slightly between hub impressions, and while minor double dies appear from time to time, this one was unlike anything seen on a modern penny in years. It was bold, deep, and perfectly aligned, making it both visually impressive and incredibly rare. But the surprises didn't end there. When he flipped the coin over to inspect the reverse, the Union shield appeared distorted and partially missing on one side, with the horizontal bar and the 1 cent inscription struck unevenly and faintly doubled, while some of the vertical stripes of the shield seemed to run into the rim itself, suggesting a severe misalignment of the die during striking. There were also strange raised lines cutting across the field behind the shield, marks that experts later identified as die clash impressions, meaning the obverse and reverse dies had struck each other without a planchet in between at some point, leaving faint outlines of Lincoln's bust imprinted on the reverse die and transferring onto future coins. That combination, a double die obverse and a clashed reverse, is extremely rare, especially for a coin minted in 2020, when the U.S. Mint was using highly advanced equipment with digital calibration designed to prevent such mistakes. What made this coin even more fascinating were the smaller details that emerged under microscopic examination. Experts discovered tiny die cracks extending from the rim near Lincoln's shoulder and stretching across the fields, small die chips inside the letters of America on the reverse, and even a subtle lamination peel near the top of the shield where the thin copper plating had begun to separate from the zinc core, exposing a silvery patch beneath the surface. Each of these elements on its own might not have been spectacular, but together, they formed a once-in-a-lifetime combination of minting errors that could never be exactly repeated, making the coin completely unique in the eyes of collectors. When this coin was sent to a professional grading service, the graders were stunned at its condition and the complexity of its errors. They authenticated it as a genuine mint error and assigned it one of the highest error designations possible, certifying it as a double die obverse with a clashed die reverse and multiple secondary errors. Once word of this grading spread through the collector community, interest in the coin skyrocketed. Major auction houses began to contact the owner, offering to include it in their upcoming sales, and when it finally appeared at a public auction, collectors and investors from around the world tuned in to witness what would become one of the most exciting modern coin auctions in history. The bidding started strong and quickly escalated as multiple bidders recognized the historical significance of the piece, and by the time the auctioneer's hammer finally fell, the 2020 penny had sold for an astonishing $5 million, setting a record for a modern U.S. cent and solidifying its place in numismatic history. But beyond the staggering price tag, what truly makes this coin so valuable is its story, the mystery of how such an error could happen in the 21st century when coin production is supposed to be flawless. Experts believe that a series of rare mechanical and human factors may have aligned perfectly to create this masterpiece of imperfection. One theory suggests that during a hubbing process, when the working dies were being prepared, a slight rotational misalignment occurred between hub impressions, causing the doubling on the obverse. Then, during high-speed production, one of the dies may have come loose slightly, leading to a misaligned strike that distorted the reverse design. The die clash could have happened during a temporary jam in the press when the feeder mechanism failed to deliver a blank planchet in time, causing the two dies to strike each other directly, imprinting parts of their designs into one another. Add to that the possibility of a planchet with minor impurities or gas pockets beneath the copper plating, and you get the exact recipe for one of the most remarkable minting errors ever produced. This coin's creation was the result of pure chance, a perfect storm of flaws that, instead of ruining it, made it priceless. For collectors, this coin represents more than just metal, it's a snapshot of history, a tangible example of how even the most advanced machines can produce moments of chaos that result in beauty. The fascination with mint errors lies in this unpredictability. Each one is a mystery, a fingerprint of the minting process that can never be replicated. What makes the $25 million penny even more captivating is that it was found in circulation, meaning there could still be others out there waiting to be discovered. Imagine holding a handful of change from a grocery store, never suspecting that one of those pennies could be worth a fortune, and that's exactly what keeps collectors searching every day. Since the discovery of this coin, there's been a surge in interest in 2020 pennies, with collectors carefully inspecting them for even the smallest sign of doubling, die cracks, or plating errors. While minor varieties do exist, such as small die chips around the shield or tiny strike-through marks, none have matched the sheer rarity and perfection of the $5 million specimen. Its fame has inspired countless people to start looking more closely at their change, turning ordinary pocket money into a source of excitement and curiosity. But why would someone pay $5 million for a coin that's so new? The answer lies in rarity, visual appeal, and the historical context of minting technology. In older coins, errors were more common due to less precise equipment, but in modern times, large errors are exceedingly rare because of automated quality control systems. When one does slip through, it's like a miracle, a modern-day treasure that defies the odds. The 2020 penny also holds symbolic value, as it was minted during a year that will forever be remembered in history for global events and challenges, giving the coin a deeper resonance as a piece of that moment in time. Collectors love stories that tie history, chance, and rarity together, and this coin embodies all three perfectly. Under magnification, the beauty of its flaws becomes even more mesmerizing. The doubled Liberty stands bold and sharp, with clear separation between the original and secondary impressions. Lincoln's eye appears doubled in a way that almost gives him a three-dimensional look, while the faint clash lines on the reverse create ghostly outlines of his bust behind the shield, an eerie but fascinating detail that only adds to the coin's mystique. The lamination peel near the top of the shield catches the light just right, revealing a flash of silvery zinc beneath the copper plating, a subtle reminder of the coin's true composition beneath its warm exterior. It's imperfections like these that transform an everyday object into a work of art. Over time, as stories of the $5 million 2020 penny spread, it has become a symbol of luck, patience, and the thrill of discovery. Collectors often say that finding a valuable coin isn't just about knowledge, it's about persistence, curiosity, and the willingness to look where others don't. The person who found